Matt, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Exclusive forms of argumentation and may debate technocratics and elitists. It teaches us about its latest to balance racism and teaches us to care more about nuclear war than solving structural violence within our community. Thus, the role of the judge is both theoretical, formally, and methodologically provides a resistance strategy for the class. Fine 13. Debate reflects the racism of society topics of the elite national targeted training system that forms cynical technocrats to try to justify the game of real consequences always available. These violent collision cause a question possibility of average judging structural inequality, race values, and training against debate survival skills, and space like debate only around the bodies that inhabit them. Theory becomes bolder around the body shape of the body constantly sits, and when I seek to tree, if I fit in the mold, I do not notice the point of tension between my body and the chair. Body seeking to share in the same way body seeking an institution. Why is coherent space and certain shape bodies that fit in the space of orientation do not notice fictional bodies that don't experience sensitiveness. It's why debate tournaments full like essence because when people call a woman enter the cafeteria, they immediately mark it out of place. I'm under 7. Public spaces take shape through visual action of bodies. If I stand in front of my desk, I'm leaning on it. Only my hands are stretched to the body shape. My magnitude directs my body shows action how the body appears when it's being inserted behind right body show behind action. The dark gets stressed white bodies. I do not have to face the whiteness. White bodies created from the edge of space only one whiteness lost the effects the institutionalization like makes non-white body feel visible in the one that they take up to the stage issue speaking again with fact to repetition this stage should be going to be so deep that how to share one body and the world begins and this creates friction bodies that stops and interrogated when they have been in the orientation space when in speech and space the white supremacy becomes used as an active inequality makes debate impossible unconscious and informal mechanisms of exclusion mean participants are not on an even playing field even when minority and subjects to speak without her addressing their social equalities prerequisite for their obligation poison 90. When was excluded for political participation on the basis of gender so look at the process exclusive interaction with informal we had the politics was government modes to determine remarks decided to equality function bodies like when rather for participating in the language people use when we're saying things but includes not on the right words when they do they're not heard they don't go to the ass when they said that was according to factual evolution and this affective orientation of the institution the energy marginalized body bodies that don't fit in the orientation of the space of force to go against the flow of the institution which causes psychic exhaustion force of the spend energy getting up in the morning keep fighting this is a form of psychological violence alienation isolation with the ability of the energy of minoritize body to help up a civil diversity when they do line spend by when they don't thus we advocate the methodology that feminist killjoy civil deviance refuse requirement to have you complicit within system of question of analysis connects the kills the joy of comfortability on the stand. Give the killjoy back a voice full of activism as they show because have these three well progress the social orders causing having families failure happiness sabotage and happiness about the truth to go along with this reason and it's causing trouble but when you charge willfulness to being so physical we can mobilize you charge one push charge to go shop for you to be conquer moment to the card you had you insist to go against for you to come what you judge being willfulness collecting together or showing you difficult to be willful to be willing to become disagreeable to on their bodies and to walk by the top of their row having conquered the freedom to be having freedom to look away when willfulness is sold we not over it and a killjoy kills the joy of that plus the institution will reduce the requirements of having imposed upon the man internal rejection of the pattern of complicity and happiness wasting orientation outside the institution the benefit is collectivization all methodology is an active self-love that opens up space of solidarity and connects minoritized bodies together all methodology is supposed to learn out moves of peace humanities and politics space consolidation without psychological violence peace and total humanity having space with the process of 14. When you're not supposed to live survival as radical Africa becomes a welfare system change we need to manage commanders calling on individualities in a system is also being challenging with challenges and when collective requires you and American experience not with fighting for the physical family and attack and survival by some of those challenge projects and some of the that we are not going to realize what they okay survival side but even we need to work on a large or macro level structural change we need to survive in the structure in the meantime under view 1 this episode is one of open sources happening in the case explains the literal full text of the app it's by input creative strategy means don't engage a lot this is the only app about on the topic if you don't have a strategy on your piece of money you can engage in many ways you could use that method to reinforce the stereotype you create a CAD method you could we have apple custom increases their assets give false identification with the shallow wage better app opens up a huge section of critical leadership we cannot have engaged together running the other side of the lab wasting his advocates of the as a counterintuitive and theory and TA tidy enough to go all in a sort of fancy which everyone coverage left side of piece one is the debate cost of doing education anyway the food security question 30 a very simple question if it's not specifically fair it doesn't matter what I just find I'm setting it to not it's when people say we need to know groups all the time we send directions has means anyways we whatever shall strategic and run and no one's that's why we still plans good bad and even if no one's gonna be separated about this when it's not try diagram the thousand rates and any how it quotes is the neck if the neck comes to the top of the definition of context and the one see there was no full method of media interpretation obviously if it exists we probably would have read if it is not limiting the debate to a choice between policies and plus it's a neoliberal conception of politics and history of makes impossible any alternative way of resisting existence there should be space to disrupt the paradigm of problem solving code is 13 analysis limited to base of a policy with negative rather than engage with what's not the motivation as well as the neoliberal markets that I guess are significant concerns for knowledge teaching is tailored satisfying students customers the universities maintain the cultural strives headed from policing knowledge neoliberal thing rightful representation because they underrate my path to support the study it's contestable and important role open space for offering radically alternative ways in a time of crisis people anxiety and the the goal should be to show that anxiety questions and the old history. 6 is that fairness is a whole for neutrality, which maintains this to a question of the side of approach. Poetry is the uneven playing field. It says fairness is not objection, and assuming it is, ignores on one side, started off a whole lot most act against. So, got a 92. We have built policy in the term for the objective was not more fair. It's that you guys about the longer for the defense points away from the stronger body, so inside the chase, this is the judging in the culture, we potential the culture and social judgment acts, and we impact the solution of martial arts, so particular categories that we cannot engage and excluded from this complex small to clarify this isn't a double term with the recent atmosphere because we all making prescriptive and but what the French matters to contain or argument is that they can attach into false making debate what's this from true advocacy simulation of like distance of political participation we believe they all a false making comes with attachment to terms like genocide or we are not immune colonial like false maker it's unacceptable evidence by engaging in lawful section these maintain hegemony we should grant the agency what they will do is individual need like a agency when else we can speak with the US institution what that causes three sector to say is at all type of radical engagement with the institution of instead of fiat actually ability to beautiful struggle prove pulsing 12 months critique is focused on look like radical supposing understanding their willingness to change over into my participants are involved with the leaders of the beautiful struggle so cut that struggle and then I
leaders of a beautiful struggle. Got it. All right. You ready? Okay. So explain the Poulsen argument.
Yeah, the Poulsen evidence is explaining a group of debaters who were openly criticizing debate and read micro-political arguments, and because they became radicalized because of those types of arguments, they went out to create change.
Reading those arguments in the context of specific debates uniquely key.
It talks about why in debate it leads to radicalize those types of students and that they go on to make real world change, yes.
All right, so what's the warrant for why that was what caused them to make real world change? Just
because they were able to, yeah, it says that they were radicalized instead of conceding to like incremental types of change. They refused to like see power to kind of dominate power structures.
All right. That's fine. Let's talk about the arguments on the offense. So the last Ahmed card, this card seems to just be making two claims: self-care good and calling people out good. Where's the warrant for why Killjoy uniquely unites those two things, i.e., creates a system of self-care?
Yeah, well, the Ahmed 10 evidence indicates that when we refuse to cede power to systems of oppression, we cause unhappiness. So the next premise that Ahmed 14 is drawing is that when we become killjoys together, we create spaces in which we can resolve that kind of psychological violence caused by not going with the flow of the institution.
All right, so what is your advocacy like? What do you advocate? Just that people should be killjoys?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they should be killjoys, it's that the method of the killjoy is a good thing. Yeah, so, that's probably the same thing. Yeah.
So your advocacy is it is a good thing for women to not be silent when oppression happens.
It's not just women, it's anyone who experiences marginalization. Basically, it's not a question of being silent necessarily, it's about kind of refusing to go with the institution, like kind of refusing to see to the like requirement to be happy with the systems of oppression. Right. It doesn't necessarily tail speaking.
All right, what would that look like on an individual level for people to engage in that kind of being a killjoy?
Yeah, so the name killjoy comes from the fact that, like, when women, for example, call out sexist jokes in a group of guys, they are called killjoys. So that would be one association. Another thing that Ahmed talks about would be when you're doing academic research, not citing white men within your research as a way to kind of disorient the way that white men take over academic kind of institutions. It can be a bunch of different forms.
All right. Okay, and then this argument about topical version of the AF, why is it uniquely necessary that I have to read my T version in like an exact plain text form? Is it like sufficient if I just like give you an example of the AF without reading it like exact plain text?
You'd have to say if it's like whole as to like how it would solve the offense. It's just you can't just assert that there's a topical version of the AF.
That's it. All right, starting prep.
See, that's so much clearer.
All right. I'll say that instead.
Yeah. There's no need to hide what our off cases are. It's not like we're reading some magical argument no one has come up with before.
I mean, that's fair. They're going to find out in like 5 seconds anyways.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You good?
Yep.
First First off, top cutting, terminating further, is that exactly what happened in public, college of the United States adversary, constitution, resolve, like, legislation, part 1, American Heritage Resolve, make, proposition, top community craft, resolution, answer, and resolve, by turning positive, resolve, adopt, resolution, legislation, protect the speech, legal doctrine, first atomic, inherently requires legal evidence, D16 for the constitution, guarantee for the city, first amendment, culture, make law, vibration, freedom, violation, you, not the talking that benefit, one, 3, show, fairly, appetite, has grown, engage, part, not the top of the back, for the A1, as the top of the crowd, for by vice company, as a most uncontroversial, German relations, someone who thinks something like preventing slavery is good, or women should not be oppressed, living that good, no ground to engage, especially after boils down to women, should not be completely with a personally, probably, just sure some fundamental level, be someone, picking the topics as a third party topic, always on third topic, it's good they'll know more about A5 even one-on-one is get any renovation, always be more prepped for more trying discussion, enjoy the whole, even afterwards, but always negative, reading shows, that ground, negative, 85 to 1 prep the defendant terms of limited pre-run, reverse around to go to end of topic, stable starting point, equal chance, general stable, topics slightly by after community choice, community driven, ultimately offer real point of debate, air not given, then what such a resource debate, there allow uncover last seconds and key version, yes, I'll here's some example, A1, induce out about how trees key to feminist liberation, but as Killjoy, after going to get from getting rid of restrictions, the way we give back the voice of Killjoy, support the gag orders, plan about sexual assault, survivors of this are silence the face of justice, say that plan results the act of the shade, and feminist Killjoy refuse to be complicit with sexual assault and want to speak out, i.e., back at those who think that the jokes he wants to say, censorship, snagging, affirmation of feminist Killjoy, you know, leverage any case against framework, I interpret it aloud, your discussion about heated counterpoint, this, even the exact discussion one if you want to fact it, the vast majority often that is net benefit of framework shall third rule absolute debate should be able to defend what Killjoy looks like. I think like in order to actually solve any sort of pressure, we need to know what they seem to look like. Crossing's pretty vague on the issue. They just give a bunch of examples found in Killjoy that is something we can actualize, which proves that we can have some sort of real world debate about what certain things could constitute feminist Killjoy. That's key to actually like your method in the real world and actually being able to learn about it. Key to further discussion. Also prove that you don't get to say that key version doesn't solve because something like say bad that even if that's true, I should be able to read those links and contest this and this in the same way I would be able to contest any sort of a cap up by reading a cap KD voting issue in equity voting always any other impact. One point is value shape arguments in only because they had a concern, but a concerning ability to determine better role for one different has to make the other had to incorrect cross application do not work second tangible case no internal vote after the issue I want to concept I so they're almost all the time they express just but they really voting against the money from you can't set a normal that third dialogue doesn't precondition to game as got juicy six terms negation my percent is better conversion democratic answers procedure rules for discussion we need unregulated alternate consider regulation not procedural and democratic assertion fuel exists resentment that make arguments plus regulate principle democratic communication make claims that are worthy of the principle of democratic debate. They skip the analytic four, skip the rest of it. Now voters drop their ratio into one, drop your argument, jump, shift your argument, which purpose to be starting around competing interpreting one, reasonably creates respond unfair perhaps in the middle to the bright line second class you obviously return reasonably because you can see the 30 competing interpreting third reasonably makes sense on top of the topical and not 87% top no arguments one illogical topical does mean one is the second shows anyways here to really theory crypto counter proliferate this third is our still normally the case to counter and around force argue for battle next off. Interpretation of imagery, substantial justifying from the ground, normal starting point, combat, and free bad pressure, not roll the judge, educate, work, from argument that we should have been whether or not oppression. Bad, but even justification inescapable from solving pressure violation, choose better relevant. I know Phil, what do you even say? That Phil is bad, which is exactly what the shell critic state point net first. The use of education is setting power close to judgment, authority, and adjudicating moves still and critical, hurdle like kills any conception, critical status as record, final influence, convention, council, schooling, as a good purpose, some teacher, best schooling, critical about authority, model pedagogy, school, and proper behavior pedagogy, chemical pedagogy, models, and one, room normalization to an unstable question model, to pressure satisfy self, reference of ratio of all it says, prescribed to student impairs model, chances recruit, to influence pedagogy, fantasy, social price, and the powers of the power. Resistance to usually community with dominant social practice form writing get four close with one. Our goal to the user resistance we should be able to consultation usually during the class debate because judge the norms for reflective vision resistant only one detail around norm legitimacy read norms and not a role showing what a self practice grounding based on judge obligation devoting issue in whole impact by your own whatever resisting argument justify why your speech act is one reinforce superior job debate for the reason impossible about stopping person shells for they which is not the case. First starting with the interview start with the staff is fair. After I point about disclosure does stop people disclose their pressure back or 30 method group that prove that they're valuable ground to debate your argument also you say that it's also your second argument, how do you listen about generics? A point is hold them to the exact same set of hold me top version. You have to explain why those generics are responsible, why those generics solve. They cannot just list a bunch of generics without explaining them. Even if I can't read generics, doesn't solve any A point. You still control what generics I read by taking the topic. So it doesn't solve because you have way more front lines than I do. That's the B point of potential fairness. You don't solve those arguments. B point, now you have arguments anyways, nor nuance negation of the world leadership topic, which means I still have more ground compared to which is always better. C point doesn't really and also framing something on atmosphere thing. Read absolutely probably good indication as not fair, which which means you should already be airing negative the debate at the point where they even have to explain to their answer and off argument. You say times to 8 point, off times to 8 point, one area theory, otherwise, like weighing the case, all viewpoint, if Shell's right, should be you respond a little time, no, you need RBIC point, no times to again, would get 30 minutes off subset of H, no more for what, subset of education, better theory, education theory, education, attack better, 8.7, education, round, now going to talk about animal rights, topic debate 2 months, however, we talk about education outside of viewpoint, we can subset of H theory, education, new create, subset of education, begin to start church, bad practice that were hard to also has unique benefits, critical things, because you can do a different way in order to engage in theory that are, you gain different types of activity, you say a value to it, the question is basically fair, 8 point, all my arguments and die, practice being non-topical is always an unfair practice, which means it's not just, it's also, which means that there is specific indices to that type of argument, say, people read nibs about periods all the time, 8 point, they read it less, they're still proving our B point, that just proves that they're outliers, sometimes look for that norm as the community isn't getting better, also, you're also off the second argument of how bidirectional cells mean, we just read whatever strategic and route, that is, again, that 8 point, that's just defense, another reason why norms that they can add this out, it is a long-term thing that can happen in B point, this argument is, it doesn't make any sense, that would just mean someone else has a different assumption norm, which means it takes time for them to get debated out. Now, for next off the top of the half, I make this argument say you say limiting the debate to a policy to 8 point. You can read critiques for policy, solves your often there B point. You don't have to defend necessarily policy, or you say you don't necessarily affirm ethicality. Say rather you affirm it's a negative state action solve back all your RFC point. No one just debates policy every single time people read Phil asks to or critical answer which solves your offense later. Now you say fairness is call for neutrality. A point even if true in fairness and general law is power. There's still general norms where we can understand that they're agreeable for its fairness. For example, saying slavery is not for B point criticism of interpretation of what a reason my conception fairness is bad. When often you read fairness, including your point only would have been fairness to accurate, not substantive fairness, which means we account for the fact that there's always going to be unequal clarity, rather than procedural fairness, how you have space of connotations. B point turn theory prevents exclusion, make sure the debate isn't one-sided. Now, off your role-playing battle group, off your read blinking evidences, ridicule pseudo. Obviously, just because you're defending it, just because you are defending that the United States are going off to do something doesn't mean you affirm ethicality. That's like saying that I role play the GM of the Cavaliers every time I say something, make fun of them, and you say off the post another radical engagement. A point we can get that out of rest yourselves. Or B point you have no warrant for why that radical engagement uniquely happened because of debate. C point there's no reason why you couldn't have that in a policy debate. Now the case proper feminist, not critical black women's exclusion in terms of Martin, 10 many black women to capacity weight pressure spirituality credit for women like sentiments outside of Kenya, only time to label oneself in the face of bigotry. Also frictions and unavoidable because we're always going to be engaged in ontological exclusion. We are affirming something, which means we're always against our institution, which means we're never able to solve for friction.
Okay. Did you read all of the Martin evidence?
I cut it right before not owning the feminist label.
Okay. And then nothing else, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody good? Let's go to the second shell. What is a normative justification?
I.e., like something starting from a moral point of like what humanity is, what obligations humanity has.
Okay. I guess so. What would the app look like in a world in which we meet the inter?
You could read ideal theory framing bad exclusions a prerequisite to ethics arguments.
Okay. Then the offense is the reasons why like authoritarian judges are bad, right?
Well, not authoritarian judges, but authoritarian in the context of education, like enforcing specific educational models is bad.
Why is it the judge that's enforcing the specific models and not the debaters? I.e., I read a roll of the ballot, the judge just evaluates my roll of the ballot.
Because your roll of the ballot directly appeals to the obligations of the judge as opposed to the discussion that would happen between two debaters.
Okay. How does the interp solve the authoritarianness?
Because in the world of the interp, you would be reading something like something about normative standards, which would be applicable to everyone, not necessarily just the judge. And the judge would be an adjudicator of that rather than adjudicating from what they conceptualize their obligation as. Okay.
And then this only impacts back to the role of the ballot, right? Not to fairness education.
Yeah.
Okay. All of your offense on the first shell are reasons why being not topical is bad, not why all app is bad, right?
I mean, I think the reasons why not being topical, like some of the arguments still indict your specific app.
Yeah, but like the ASA point, for example, is I could choose something that like slavery is bad. That's not the app, right? No. What are the offense that's specific to why all app specifically is unfair?
The argument is the fact that this app is not the one that was pre-chosen by the topic already gave you a monopoly on specific preference strategy, which is a violation of fairness.
Okay. So all the reasons why fairness outweighs the impact or reasons why it comes for the world about it.
There are also just reasons why fairness is key to any judge obligation in general.
Okay. Let's go to the underview. Did you read reasons why theory education is good? Because I didn't catch those. Did you?
Yeah. The two arguments are A, substantive education doesn't impact outside the round as much as theory education because, like, a lot of people just throw away their back files after 2 months, whereas they are more likely to have to think about norms of what's fair or educational in any context like college or legal settings or whatever. And the second argument is theory. Theory has two unique benefits to substantive education. A, it makes sure that stupid strategies like nibs, which are probably bad for substantive education, don't happen. If you didn't have theory, then people would just read infinite nibs. And B,
okay.
also...
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, bye.
Check to open the doc.
No worries. Just a reminder to put yourself on mute, Matt.
I will.
Cool. I'm good whenever.
Okay, Matt, you good?
1 sec. Alright, I'm good.
Extend the wall of the judge upon the bachelor resist oppression. Part 13 says the focusing on material executive right of such great rule to a change which is an independent ways of job including through because we put exclusion norms. Additionally, the second shall definitely does impact and act to the wall about. It's not a question of authoritarian judge, but rather resistance strategy to resist oppression. Now, we found the resolution through the methodology of the finance skills, join up evidence collectivization, create affective space of solidarity, come together, resolve psychological violence of isolation when Nathan debate on your margin evidence. 6 point is that Alma 10 says that it can that the economic skills can kill things like wipe feminist space, which means there's no reason why this applies to our peace 20s. There's peace 20s that womanism is a hyper-feminine which is with the alternative that Martin gives, which means there's definitely not mutually exclusionary. You say friction is unavoidable. Ace 20 says no want for this. Friction is not unavoidable. If you can contest it, the way that discussion of the states operate via things like the methodology. Now in the underview, substance education outweighs theory education because it's a child. I really wants to make the topic of we the same says theory debates all year on your reasons why theory education comes first. Your Ace 20 said just that last out around it's not it's a question of the skills we get from substance education, not a question of backgrounds. Now your second argument is that it's key to stop things like naval sleep and more substance education. Know that basic question if is theory education instrumentally good or intrinsically good, which is instrumentally good. Now extended quotas evidence which impacts the framework shall apply, forcing us to debate about policies prevents us for instance from questioning a preceding system because we cannot look at different frames of references. None of your arguments your first argument is not we're not forcing you can read it on the negative notes. A question of you forcing all frame of reference. Now you say that we can have those discussions on other times. No, the Occurrence evidence is saying the practice of forcing us to do that is bad. Now, theory counter-interpretation of it is going to fund the resolution to discuss the methodology. If the app has been open source from the case 6, not response to our child, the ability with that because enough evidence for nagging to sacrifice by poison, not easy the most of which are moderate truths and better that will not include the political spin that complains to dismiss and not going to you. Interpretation exclusive amounts of engaging when the child way discuss when he's operating to create an inclusive space which always happens which requires people to be in the first place. Now, I can wait case against the theory. First, even if I can't wait case, I can still classify arguments. They're just arguments you can respond to. I read other leading models of interpretation of debate in institutions and how it should use me force you to defend yours. Because second is that unfinished is inevitable. Some debaters are more money or culture or just better to debate and judges still able to write or whether arguments are true or not. Now, no topical was the app. Now, all of yours are post-PR, which means that it doesn't solve the app. Feminist kills a figure of discursive deviancy that we have to disrupt debate norms, which means none of your arguments are applied. Additionally, propose reasonability with a byline of actual thinking impact on being disclosed. My interpretation of reasonability means I just write one byline of Sunday kind of interpretation, but even if it's being about evidence, education, encouraging, committing interpretation, encourages, okay, feels peer martial, listening, because in advantage, theory debating, class debate, one, two, your first argument is waste of the bottom. First, showing committing interpretation causing waste of top, which is not worse because it's most applicable to the road. Second is no reason for actually being abusive. I'll lose because I won't be having any conceivable byline. Now you say classic committing interpretation. Yes, we can use it off Stephen's paradigm to evaluate the reasonability model, but once we decide on that model and by evaluation, now you say T is binary. This is not true. Though many interpretations what the topic is not a question of topical, but it's not topical. Now, on your standards, you say fairness was strong. There are tons of ways you can engage with this. I have no reason why you need every single way. Second, you consider that no norm setting. This one is not tried. I would think that should be helpful every single practice. Third, pigeonholing is inevitable. Yeah, pigeonholing negative. Additionally, prop skew is non-unique. You can prop out your front lines. Now you say real world. No, we're the only real world advocates because we're the only one that actually gives with debate. Now, next theory racial counter-interpretation, conflict interpretation, net benefit is critical education. You force us a way to abstract away from how our bodies operate in, force us force abstract independent rationality or ethics, which forces us to abstract away from our material body, that which prevents us from actually engaging in mutuality, which discourse operates, which outweighs, which often prevents people from engaging on your liquid evidence. Force this is inevitable. Judges are always authoritarian. They always have the power. Whether we have normative justification or not. It's like a ton. Debate definitely solves this back. We decide that all about it. Additionally, I need beyond that evidence. It's definitely normative claim of what the position the judge takes.
Catherine, on the counter-inter, where'd you cut the analytics?
Oh, sorry. I didn't read the italicized part or the second standard or this is an OCI.
Okay. Got it. So just the nagging DA up to the italics, right?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Starting prep.
Yeah, so T on the standards debate, and then
standards debate, which will be fairness, T version AF, and I guess they're nagging dissat. Then competing interpretive reasonability, then voter weighing, and then the AF, just the extension of the AC spite.
Cool.
Everyone good?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
First termination would have resolved around is whether or not the negative was the affirmative was not fairness round. It's going to be very easy, but they only have defense against the fairness argument. They don't have an actual offensive argument, so extend the interpretive affirmative must have been topical implementation of a plan that is going to have evidence that they can have to defend the First Amendment, i.e. legal doctrine, extent of constitutional violation. They're not topical. The fairness impact is very clear. You can negative to extend the ace point for controversy to justify aspect just literally be anything like slavery. By their only argument here, there's many ways to engage this. However, they consider the argument against the AC underview. They consider several responses on the AC underview that directly indict this argument. So they don't just get to make the same argument and ignore what I said. The AC, so extend all the conceded arguments against atmosphere. The AC pointed that even you can still control what generic say have by picking the topic, which means I could never have predicted it ahead of time, which still skews my ability to have any sort of logical engagement. And the B point, not only you have the arguments anyway, so no more nuanced engagement in the world of yours, and you also don't prove that these are responsive generics, which is the conceded frame issue. I consider that I have to provide plain text for topical orders. You have to have an explicit way that yours, the generics that you claim are responsive are actually responsive, which you have not done, which means you don't get access to argument, which at this point means it's terminally unengageable. Even then, you're not really responded to the viewpoint very well, which is just that your interpretation still allows you to monopolize program time. It's still a violation of fairness in the world. You get to pick the topic that we're going to debate around before the time because you're always going to know about it. You say neg or not tired of it. There's still obviously abuse inherent to not defending a topic that you all are the one who gets to pick and not necessarily monopolize strategy in terms of what they already know. You say pigeonholing sign, you have no warrant for this. You not give a reason why if I read a topic off and I'd be pigeonholing. You read a topic off and I could read any neg argument within the context of the topic I want. So with it, pigeonholing argument doesn't make any sense. Also, B point is comparative question. You're still less pigeonholing the world of my interpretation, which is I definitely want a violation of fairness. That is less possible for me to prep or predict or engage your app, which means at that point it's pretty sufficient to vote negative as long as when the fairness comes first. Now the T version debate, they've only got one argument about the T version, which is pretty bad because I have spent half a minute expressing and fleshing out the T version debate. So you can see the framing issue that my top level version have to exactly be what they want, but as long as it's very close to the topic or at least 99% close to at least most of the discussion would happen, then should validate this counterplan dissat debate. I still get most of their dialogue at that point. They still conceded a lot of reasons why they can engage in that sort of discussion. I think say the censorship is nagging, and that is essentially a violation of fairness. Your only argument here is a question of why norms that are stressing a point. No, you can just discuss the way that fiat impacts on a real debate around that's empirical proven NDT finals, where they talked about the way you can ask for HCI in their 2 hours explanation topical version half, which means that we definitely solve your viewpoint for fiat implication of sense, where you can empirically have a look at monovistas app, where they read an app about topicality being oppressive as pre-fiat implication to their apps that criticize debate norms, which obviously means you can apply fiat and you can apply the methodology of the one of fiat in a pre-fiat way and gain offense there, which means to solve that in your offense. So at that point, we've won a lot of reasons why topical version DF does allow most of the discussion. You want one sentence here, it's not going to cut it. Now the voting issues that first going to competing interpreting the framing issues, then weighed in the competing interpreting reasonably justification in terms of voting. They have considered that fairness is the largest voter and impact is not really education voter either. They just sort of make blanket arguments about why education might be good, but a constituent of a judge's obligation, which means at that point their only justification for reasonability relies on education, which means that voter level that fairness outweighing education, which I'll win later, will be the top level framing issue you should evaluate. Now the framing issue and the rest of the arguments, they don't weigh any of the arguments. There's obviously 4 blippy arguments, so it's a comparison of what arguments come first. So extend the first argument that can reasonably trace a race above my work. People are encouraged to read some arguments that are just marginally above the red line, empirically proven by graph. You just say Lincoln impact no. We don't know what Lincoln impact no means. It's sufficient for me to be able to say sexism good against NAF. Yes, that's Lincoln impact no, but it's not actually good Lincoln impact ground or fair Lincoln impact ground, which means your bright line is vague and terrible. So you should probably not evaluate it. It's not a good bright line for having any sort of discussion, which means even independently, if they win reasonably, you should put my reasonably bright line of offense defense. Now the line below, they just say the competing interpretation creates a race to the top where people read as much theory as possible. They beg the question of why theory is an unfair practice alongside one that fairness outweighs education. This argument doesn't have any logical implication. They also going to go for the not logical anti-argument. You say that there's multiple interpretation of what the topic means. There's no one for this. Obviously, if I had won my framework arguments, then I'm the one true interpretation of what the topic means. So students' argument doesn't make any sense. Now let's go to your argument for reasonably to see the substantive education. How will the theory arguments outweigh substantive education of the case flow? Now go, which means that it takes out the argument. Now the nagging is set. First off, the nagging, that's one T version solved it, which means that we still get someone in your discussion. Second, not true, obviously. For example, it's not nagging. If I tell a woman not to choose strangers to see if I win, you're doing something bad. That's an impact turn of the disadvantage. And this proves that you shouldn't still be complicit with something because you have not want that fairness is an injustice. It's only nagging if I'm asking you to be complicit with injustice, which you not want. Also, she's an impartial absolutely about it. The practice, not argument, debate, and just how promoting debate, common ground. The cultural sensitive be dangerous arguments. It's a fool with the persuasive on his argument in favor of reason debate. It's an amount of character. The pattern now the framing debate on the fairness arguments. There's a lot of different arguments for why fairness is good versus fairness is bad, which means you should have to weigh the inclusion the argument. So there's several different layers. They don't do any way into one error, which means they don't get to do it in two errors because I haven't contested that. Now the argument that you should evaluate for here's the argument to have the nagging is which I've already responded to, and they have the neoliberalism turn as well. And there's also 3 independent conceded reasons why you should evaluate my arguments first, my fairness first. So extend for which means that you should automatically err negative on strength of link debate. So first start with the resolvability from the result. They concede it's fairness to key to evaluation. You're not going to fairly test their truth claims out after one and see if they are not one. Your argument here is that you just muddle the interpretation debate. That obviously doesn't make sense because that presumes that we have the ability to actually discuss and test your app, which takes that also extend the argument as to how we have to have some sort of procedural fairness claims in order to be able to engage in sort of discussion in the first place, which is going to outweigh because most cases the judge's obligation. They still have a result who they can wander right. You also say unfairness is inevitable. This argument doesn't make any sense. A-point racism is also inevitable. That doesn't mean we shouldn't resist. The B-point is that's not responsive to my argument. My argument is about procedural fairness, not substantive fairness. Yes, even if substantive fairness is inevitable, we can still have discussion. They've also conceded the Drees evidence, which independently proves that fairness is key to effective dialogue. I wouldn't have any sort of agnostic discussion in any sort of logical way without some sort of fair balance. Also takes on your neoliberal interpretation proves I could prove that I was not neoliberal in the first place. Finally, they also concede they don't get away the case because the voting act doesn't actually enact or solve any sort of oppression. Just because you say that you're affirming the methodology of affirmative privilege doesn't mean the judge is actually being criticized or stop any sort of precedent institution. Also takes out your no T versus the F argument because the judge isn't actually actualizing anything of that. Doesn't make sense. Now the neoliberals are sorry. You still concede that there's no link. You don't have to defend the neoliberal framework of the concept to say you could defend a good state action. You just say this is an impact turn to creating rules, but not every single rule is that. For example, saying that you should not be oppressive is probably a good rule. Wait, how much time do I have? I think that's it.
I was the timing.
Oh,
okay.
Oh. So I had 30 seconds left, but I started the timer late, so I estimate about 30 seconds. I'll just stop there.
Okay, sounds good.
That might be the most perceptually dominant ending to a speech I've ever heard, Matt.
What is this video?
Just watch it. If you, Matt, can make a video where you dance like that, I will coach you for free next year. The whole year.
You know, I actually used to do breakdancing in middle school.
Really? My brother does it too. I think breakdancing is awesome, dude. I wish I did it.
Don't know if I still can. It's been like 3 years.
For some reason, I really can't see you as a breakdancer.
I don't blame you. I was pretty bad.
paradigm issues. Everyone's good?
Just paradigm issues?
Yep.
Okay. Which paradigm issue?
Competing interests for reasonability.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, everyone's good?
Yeah.
The app is a good idea. The methodology of the feminist skill to increase affective space of solidarity was all psychological violence in Jamaica. Substance was not contested, which means all I have to do is be back there now. On theory, I'm going for reasonability. Extend reasonability of the violent of access like an impact on ground and being disclosed. This is not arbitrary. It shows they give the ability to engage in. If you do not have puppet, it is your own fault. It is the perfect line in the stand for laziness. I.e., if you wanted to resource that, that is available. There are tons of arguments available to you, but if you do not, then you are going to lose. But additionally, if the app actually is unanswerable, then you have tons of theory ground, which takes out most of your arguments. The framing issue here is that you said that there was no weighing done, but then you didn't do very much weighing, which means I'll just do weighing in this speech. Second framing issue is that fairness might come first on the standards debate, but that does not mean it comes first on the paradigm debate. It's what is that the standards debate says what is good to debate about, but the paradigm debate tells you what it means for how you evaluate what is good to debate about, which means it's not the same thing. And even if fairness comes first on the standards debate, education comes first on the paradigm issue because it's the end goal of debate in the first place. This one is that all your reasons for why fairness comes first, arguments for why fairness precludes our ability to engage in substance. But obviously that doesn't make sense on the reasonability versus competing interpretation debate, which obviously doesn't apply. Additionally, substance education is the most applicable to the real world, where this is conceded, where people before we are debaters, which means the end goal of debate is to teach us to be better people, which additionally always theory education on school, because theory is not going to be used in the real world. Now I'll wait against your arguments. Your first argument is that you go for it's the race to the bottom, the race to the bottom. Substance education outweighs ace point is inevitability. Debaters will be abuses no matter what, probably, but we can always but we can get substance education where that is not inevitable, and it's something we can change. This one is it always on empirical verification. We've had competing interpretation we use, and there's not been a way to the top or any better known setting, which means it's definitely triodiac for reasonability. It's simply triodiac for reasonability. Now you also say that I don't know what my impact on ground is. No, you don't know what my impact on ground is. Ace one is that there's no implication to this. There's no implication to this, even if some of your ground would be morally repugnant. That is not justified why all bright line is a whole would be a bad thing. Base one is that that's not what Lincoln impact on ground would be in this case. Lincoln would be why I'm a bad from skills way, and impact on ground would be why my method is bad. That's what Lincoln impact on ground means on a critique. But now you say it begs the question of theories and fair. No, I've already won the substance education always theory education. No, now always substance education always the T versus not T, the T is binary debate. Ace one is magnitude. Who cares the T is binary versus not binary? There's definitely not any impact to this. Well, substance education lasts for the rest of our lives. Piece one is that Piece one is that this is just both. T is not binary. It's not a question of fair T versus anti. Additionally, there's no impact to this. T might be binary, but we can do it until me. If I put reasonability, that means none of your arguments like how proposed BF matter or Anderson matter because you just evaluate based on whether I meet the paradigm.
All right. Yeah, this is a very interesting debate. So Matt, for the sake of time, because I definitely want to let you go, let me give you feedback first.
All right.
Cool. So from a time trade-off perspective, you're sort of getting schooled, right?
Yeah, I just didn't invest enough time on, I guess, paradigm stuff.
Well, I think that this 2R is difficult because you don't know what the 2R will end up going for. But I think you could make a reasonable guess what the 2R will end up going for. Like, you're doing so much work on like the case on the line by line of your shot. Like, I would say over 4 minutes of your speech is winning a fairness link and then explaining why fairness outweighs her like one piece of offense, which is the nagging disad, and I guess like maybe the neoliberalism turn, right? So like you're spending a crap ton of time winning the link and weighing the impact, and she's spending such little investment on that in the 1AR. You should sort of anticipate that that's not what the 2AR is going to end up being.
All right.
Right? So I think that when we drill next, in your redo, you should be able to win the fairness debate and the weighing of fairness first in 2 minutes.
Alright.
I think you are going for too much here, right? Like you're trying to go for all of your impacts. Like I don't know why you're going for pigeonholing and like the prep skew claim, etc. I would just choose one of your fairness impacts.
Alright.
So choose one fairness link, one fairness impact, and then weigh it against nagging, and then put defense on nagging, and that should be done in 3 minutes tops.
Alright.
Especially given the 1 AR time allocation on this, right?
Mhm.
So like you're just wasting so much time in so many places right now. Like you like spend so much time cross applying conceded arguments on the AF about how like even if there's responses, there's still a prep skew, and like the AF gets more nuanced engagement, and we need a specific way to engage. Generics are non-responsive. I think that you are wasting a ton of time there.
Alright.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Cool. Now on TVA, I think that TVA is also unnecessary here. TVA is just what would TVA do for you on this debate?
Be terminal defense to the neg impacts.
Right, but you already have a ton of other defense on nagging, and you're weighing against it, right?
That's true. I spent like a minute on TVA, could have just scrapped.
Right, and so do you see how like you basically put like 5 minutes almost of the 2 and R's versus one nagging disad?
Yeah, that was just one of those decisions that, in retrospect, yeah, it's just bad time allocation.
It's totally okay. This is why we drill, and this is why we work on it. And so now specifically on the reasonability competing interrupts debate, the first thing is I think that you definitely need to impact race to the bottom to substantive education. Like you need to point out it's a question of like substantive education in short term versus long term. And if you win that competing interrupts causes long term more fair debates, that would mean you get more long term substantive education.
All right.
The second thing is, oh, go ahead.
You think like I ran out of time to do this, but do you think I could have also just gone for theory at good and the 2NR instead?
Yeah, that was exactly what my next comment was going to be. With the second thing is don't drop substantive education outweighs.
I was going to go for that. I just ran out of time.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I think going for that would help. I think that your like what is impact turn ground on this argument or on this AF, like is that sexism good? Begs the question of like why this bright line is a good one. I think that argument should be framed as a reason why they don't meet their own bright line.
Right.
And it should also be framed as a reason why it illustrates why the arbitrariness claim is true.
All right.
Right? Like why this bright line?
Okay. Do you think the way it was impacted in 2NR, like just if this is a disad to their bright line, just use reasonability with the bright line of offense defense instead made sense?
If you said that, I didn't catch it.
All right. I was probably just like in that. Like I know the 1NC was like unclear, but like how is the 2NR on clarity?
2NR was better. It's as soon as you start reading cards, you become unclear.
All right.
I don't know what to do about your unclarity. I'm sort of at a loss for it. I was actually just talking to Dino about it, and we both are sort of confused about what to do. So I'll just keep reminding you over and over and over again. Maybe I'll stick a Post-it note on your forehead.
How would I read it?
What?
How would I read that?
You wouldn't. You'd have everyone tell you every time you talk to them. Anyways, point is, back to this. Next time we work, I want to hear a redo on this. The redo on this, you're doing a good job doing some weighing on 4 blippy arguments aren't weighed, and like race to the bottom comes first. But I think you should go for the arbitrariness claim, not race to the bottom.
All right.
I think your arbitrariness claim is the better argument, and I think on the race to the top, race to the bottom claim, you can just say it's non-unique.
All right.
Like, debaters will inevitably have abusiveness no matter which way we do it. If we do competing interps, there will be debaters like me who read bidirectional shells and abuse it. If we do reasonability, there will be debaters like Catherine who read non-topical AFs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that On the I think that you could also maybe go for like the it collapses on itself, though I think that argument is sort of dumb.
Yeah, I think I just think her argument was probably just true that even if competing in terms versus reasonability is offense defense, we can still use reasonability.
Yeah, I know it's true. I gave her that argument. So I agree with you, but I think that really we got to go for arbitrariness, impacted to intervention, explain why intervention outweighs, non-unique her offense on race to the bottom, race to the top, put defense on the substantive education claim, and then you're much better off on reasonability competing in terms.
Right. So basically, the redo could have just been the 1 minute on T version of the app would have just been on the paradigm debate.
Yes, and you could have significantly shortened the debate on the fairness link level and impact level.
For like 4 reasons, the app was unfair.
Yeah, it was so overkill. I think you could have like thought about going for a second out, like a shadow out, like the theory debate or something like that.
I guess, but
here's real quick. Here's a magical thought. You could have slowed down a little bit, and then everybody could have flowed you better.
All right, that's true too.
Right, and so that way we would have saved time, or we would have gained time that could have been spent being clearer.
All right, so just like cutting out a lot of the unnecessary extensions on the fairness debate, and then just you investing on competing interps and just go a little slower.
Yeah, exactly. And let's hear that for next time. There's a couple other speeches I'd like to hear for next time, but I'll Facebook you about them, okay?
Specific to this redo or just in general?
In general.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what you meant in this round. I wasn't gonna go for the case turn.
Yeah, no. We'll talk more via Facebook. Message me when you can work next. I am not going to be able to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday would be best. Presumably, ideally Thursday.
Oh yeah. One last question. In terms of the 1NC strategy, do you think it was? Do you think in retrospect, I didn't think the underview was going to take me as long, but that underview is really long. Do you think I could have just read one-off framework and just not read the Rickert shell, just put more case turns?
Yeah, definitely. I was actually surprised you went for T and not the Rickert shell, because her time allocation on the Rickert shell was not very long.
Yeah, that's fair, but I figured you'd give him more persuasive 2AR on that because the Rickert shells can be a little gimmicky.
Yeah, and that begs the question of why we're reading a gimmicky 2-minute out in the 1N.
Also, do you think I needed to spend that much time on the underview, or could I have been shorter?
I think against Catherine, you probably need to spend that much time because she's like a machine on the paradigm issues now. I think against somebody like Grant, we can probably spend a little bit less time.
I mean, Grant doesn't read 2.5-minute underviews either.
True. We can discuss that, but I think that the time investment is probably necessary.
All right. I just wanted to hear your feedback, so I wasn't over-investing on that.
Well, I think that you could say you should get 2 new 2AR arguments and then undercover it.
I guess. I'm just ideologically opposed to that argument.
Well, I hope you're not ideologically opposed to winning, because that would maximize our chances of winning.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Well, do you have any other questions for me?
That's about it. Just wanted to know about the time allocation of the 1N, because I know that was a little messed up.
I mean, we essentially didn't get a substance out.
Yeah. So basically, should have just been one-off without Rickert and just more case turns.
Yeah, ideally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to you.
Cool. Can you message me when you can work next?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Have a good night, buddy.
You too.